Tonight was a historic moment. Donald Trump addressed the nation, but it was rather tame. I would say that his address to the nation was very tame. I thought there would be more to it. I thought, like, are you going to reveal something? Are you going to expose something? Are you going to talk about something more in detail? He kept it really low key. I know his speechwriters probably just wanted to nothing but the facts, my fellow citizens. Really, what came down to it was we are continuing with this war with Iran. We are not surrendering. We're not backing down. We're not backing out. He pretty much regurgitated a lot of things that he has said on Truth Social. So he reminded the people in Europe, the European nations, that go after, if you want oil, if you want to have energy, take the Strait of Hormuz. We've done the heavy lifting. You can just go in there and just take it. Take it. It's yours. I think of the movie Troy with, what's his name? Brad Pitt. Yeah, take it. It's yours. That's what America does. We laid down the law. We decimated the country. And I know a lot of people, because it's like, are you black-pilled? I know, because everybody, if you're on the internet, if you're interneting too hard these days, you're more than likely black-pilled at this point. You think that the United States, we're crumbling as a nation. The Jews are taking over everything. Israel is so evil and they got us under their thumb. Like that is the mantra, and just like the MAGA people are dorks. I don't care. I'm not MAGA. I'm just like, I support Donald Trump. I've always supported him. He's our president. But like that's the vibe. That's the vibe. If you're on the internet, if you're doing that too hard. But I did want to begin with, because there was a lot of things happening, and I wanted to bring up, we are going back to the moon. I don't know if you've heard this, but I'm a skeptical person that we actually went to the moon. But seeing the launch of the rocket today, and this is from Glenn Beck's, he posted this. You guys should check this out. This does get your patriotic blood flowing. I would say that. It's launching. We're going further than we've ever gone before. If they can get out of Earth's orbit, if they can get out of our atmosphere and into space, and really what's going on out there, I am skeptical that we actually went to the moon in the first place. But seeing this, man, I almost want to retract everything I've said before. That does get shut up, bitch. I think of, I got to be quiet because Billie Eilish, my daughter loves Billie Eilish, but I've seen the video of her saying, we are in stolen land and like that. And then you see the Rock, shut up, bitch. It's great. Oh, man. Yeah. Glenn Beck, he's in tears. Just, God, it's great. Amen. God is great. But I mean, I am hesitant. I know it just seems like we don't want to just, this seems like this is our thing, almost like a Tower of Babel thing. If we just start glorifying what we've done, our creation, how we can reach to the heavens, it seems like that is where it kind of goes when you go down that road. And I mean, I do like Glenn Beck a lot. I just got to tell a quick, just Glenn Beck story. He was the person that I remember back in like 2010-ish. He was on Fox. He was the one I started really getting into the news, getting into politics, getting into conspiracy, because he was like the conspiracy guy for the longest time. And he always just kind of just gave us the warning signs that we could be going off a cliff. So I have high respect for Glenn Beck. But it is this kind of like these people that were alive for back then, whenever we were going to the moon, they were so bought into it. And most of the boomer generations, they still like believe it, and they didn't have the ability to internet too hard like we can and be able to see, fact check some of the things that were happening. And it seems like all the stuff back then just got wiped off. So I don't really necessarily agree that we did go to the moon back then. It seems kind of silly and a joke to look at the things that the claims they made. But if we could go back, if we could go now, I don't know. But it just seems too coincidental. AI's coming around. We have all this. We can generate anything. We can create anything. Videos. It seems like that's going to drive the probability of even a greater fake happening. So they're saying we're not going to the moon to land on the moon right now. We're just going there to wrap around it and then come back. But Donald Trump, when discussing, I thought he would go into a little bit more. I thought he would expose a couple more things. I thought he would bring up the aliens thing. But he didn't even go down that road. It was pretty much like a 14-minute speech. He kept it very low key. He didn't. The only thing I could even glean from it that was noteworthy was it that we are sticking with the Iran thing, with their war in Iran. We are not going away. We are, at least for the next 2 to 3 weeks, probably longer than that, to really solidify our presence there if we're going to take it over. But I just know just the people that are out there that are so bought into this lie that America's on the decline, we're falling off the cliff, Donald Trump's leading us into dire straits, we're in a terrible situation. That's phony. That's BS. That's not the truth at all. You know, we are in a lot safer and better position than we were under President Biden. I almost said Biden, like almost combining Obama and Biden. Biden. Okay, yeah. So the moon mission, we're going back up there. The war with Iran, we're not backing down. Aliens are still on the table. They could be on the table very soon, more than likely. But I thought he would maybe bring that up. Why? They've made the aliens.gov, so I haven't went to the website. I've just heard that it's out there. They took that website name and more kind of like the Epstein files, they're going to start releasing that. What we're going to find out about that, I don't think that we're just going to, as the public, be like, well, we're just coming and we're just learning a little bit at a time, get a couple more news things come out. I think the aliens are going to be like, we're done. We're just out. We're out. We're showing ourselves, and we're going to be like, whoa, oh my gosh. This is kind of where it goes anyways. If aliens are there, like, it's not like they completely contradict a biblical worldview, or if you believe in the Bible, if you believe in God, just because aliens show up doesn't mean. That's where, like, all these sci-fi geeks, you know, I mean, that's not a pejorative. That could be a cool thing. But like, they're like, oh, I believe in aliens, but I don't believe in God. Who put the aliens there? You know, eventually you got to get back to some uncaused first cause. And as Christians, we know that uncaused first cause is Jesus Christ, you know? So that's where it actually ends up. So it's like, no matter what you want to put in a filler, a gap, you know, just between there or whatever, if aliens exist, something had to create the aliens. And if there's an alien above the alien, like, eventually you're going to get to that very first, the aseity, that God has just existence within himself. He never began, he just always is. He always will be. And that's why God is so amazing. God is so amazing. You know, it's like when we just get that, I just get into that mode where it's like, I can't even think of anything else. Like, I am in awe of him, because we just think, oh, I'm having so much fun looking at my phone. I'm having so much fun watching TV and go to the movies or doing whatever. It's like God just puts all of that stuff to shame. None of that stuff matters compared to him. You know, so if we can discover aliens, I mean, good. That's great. You know, they could have the possibility of being kind of influenced by demonic powers, because that is a thing as well. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying just because if some green men show up, or gray men, that they're evil in themselves. They would have been created by God, but there is evil out there that could harness that energy and that power of aliens. So watch out there. Be careful about that one. Keep your head on a swivel. We don't know what's actually going to happen. We should be ready for anything. Everybody should be ready for anything. But if you have your trust in Jesus Christ, you don't have anything to worry about. You don't have to worry about if a missile comes and lands on you, you know, or if you get shot, or if you get in a car and you have an accident, because we're all going to die eventually. So it's like, and I've just been hearing over and over, like, and I don't want to be too light about this, but the thing that's kind of annoyed me the most is people's pronunciation of missile. Have you, like, since the war started, I've just heard people saying missile. That is the way that people are, I guess, pronouncing it these days, or pronunciating it these days. I'd never heard of that, but I guess that's being like almost the English, the British version of just, I want to sound smart. Hoity-toity. Put that hoity-toity noise, get it out of here, you know? But people are legitimately dying and getting killed, so it is extremely serious situation. But when you have a worldview, an idea like, this isn't it, this isn't all there is, we're eventually going to meet our maker, you know? Whether, you know, he calls us home and just, you know, our heart just stops, or we get sent into war and we die. At the end of the day, we're all just like one breath away before standing in front of him. So it's like I think we should all have a mindset: be ready, no matter what. This day could be your last. You're walking into your last day. You never know. All we have is today. Don't I feel so bad for these people over there because I know there's Iranians that are my brothers and sisters in Christ. The people of God are spread out all over this world. We can, they're not our enemy really, but like in a sense now, because they're on the other side, because we have these lines and we're a part of each nation. We're playing a team sport right now, so we want to support and stick with our nation, our red, white, and blue. Support our troops. But at the end of the day, there are only two types of people in this world. I don't know if you know this. There's the people that are of God, and there's the people that are not of God or of Satan, however you want to put it. And it's kind of like that Matrix deal. Everybody is born plugged into the Matrix. You're born that way. And it's not until something unplugs you, and that unplugging is Jesus Christ when you trust in him. So it's like once you have that, that's all that matters. Nothing else matters. We don't have to worry about or be anxious if our 401k is just going into the toilet or whatever, or we lose our job, or we lose a family member. I mean, those are awful things, but it's like you can have peace that just goes beyond just your circumstances, or everything going right for you, or having food, or having entertainment, or whatever, not being bored for 2 seconds. We can have a greater peace because we have a relationship with God. That's all that matters, but because I just see so many people that are black-pilled, because I do watch Nick Fuentes a lot, and he is just nonstop, just railing every freaking night. Donald Trump he's doing the most terrible things, and we can't elect JD Vance next as our next president, and it's just creating. It's like I almost see him as a psyop, almost like he almost feels like a Fed at this point. I don't think he is. I don't think that anybody could pay Nick Fuentes off, but it's like everything he's doing feels like he is a Fed. Everything feels like he is just there planted to push a narrative. It's like a lot of these just influencers, they don't seem like who they really are. They do feel like they're bought and paid. They do feel like that. Like Candace Owens, even Tucker Carlson to extent. These high profile names. It's like once you start going down a certain like thing where you just start not passing the smell test, like it does seem weird. Like every night that he gets on there and he's just pushing forth an agenda. I do think he does really believe these things. Honestly, I do think he really he wants the Jews to be gone, or he wants them like segregated, put away, don't come near me kind of thing. I feel weird saying that, honestly, because I know like it's like you see almost a split personality between him, whereas he seems like he can be a nice down to earth guy, but then he rails on you. He's like very theatrical, and it's like, who are you, man? Who really are you? I don't know what you really believe. If you feel like you're just about the Jewish people, that you're so opposed to them, that this organized Jewry is the biggest threat to the United States and the world. But you say you have people that work with you that are Jewish. I thought you said that. You have friends that are Jewish. Maybe it's like they're your friends until they're really Jewish. It's like maybe once they get really Jewish, then they're a problem. Then they're a problem. That's what it feels like, Like, and I know he's locked in on just white people. White people that are the real deal. And I'm all for white people. As you can see, I'm white. I like white people, and I do recognize that I think we all have a little bit of racism in us. I think we all have that. And if you say you don't, you probably have a lot of racism in you. Because, I mean, I'm a person that, like, if I see a white basketball player, I'm like rooting for him. Or if I see a white receiver, I'm like, go, go, go. Like, if I see a white quarterback going against a black quarterback, Honestly, I mean, it depends. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he's my dude, but like I think we all got that a little bit. And if you don't say that, you're just probably lying. You're probably just not telling the truth. So Nick's got some things right. And a lot of things that are very just that rub people the wrong way that he says in his show. That's what we're all thinking. We really, and that's why I do like respect him for that, because he says what like is on his mind. It's like he has a filter, but it's like not, it doesn't really filter out much kind of thing. And so like I agree with him on a lot of things, but like the thing about Israel and the Jewish people, he cannot get past that at all. He cannot see past it, because he's grown up a Catholic. That's what he is, and he like is holding hardcore to it, which is like if I had crossed that threshold and became a Catholic, because there were times in my life I wanted to become a Catholic. If I would have done that, I would have probably been the most hardcore, extreme Catholic imaginable. And you never know. I mean, I could eventually become a Catholic. I don't know. I think Catholics got a lot of things right, but then I think there's some things that they're off. But I think the public, like the people that are out there, not maybe like the public, but I'm talking about the heavy duty influencers that are out there that are hardcore Catholics, like Nick Fuentes, like Candace Owens. They're the ones that seem like they are pushing this narrative of anti-Semitism, because it's like they disagree so much with the Jewish identity. They want only, I mean, they're all doing it for different things. They're all not necessarily all just like one thing why they're going at it, but it's like behind it, harnessing all of it is definitely Satan. Not a question in my mind. If you're like going after like Jewish people and just like pinning things on them and saying that they're up to no good or they're doing something wrong, that is way off. I mean, maybe you can criticize Israel a little bit and say the government and like be very careful. Like Tucker Carlson almost bends over backwards saying that I don't have anything wrong about Israel. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I mean, I think we're just lying to ourselves at this point. If you're saying that every time, you have something inside of you that is pushing against this Jewishness, pushing against this Israel, power that they are creating and developing. I just think that the United States, it does not have any better friend than Israel, without question. And they could become a huge global power. They could become one. And it's like, if they were one, I wouldn't be afraid of them. And I'm not like necessarily afraid of like China or Russia, but it's like China or Russia would be more in probability of wanting to take over us. And like, but it's like if Israel took over the United States, if they did, and I know some people think they already have, if they did, it's like things really wouldn't change that much. I mean, if Russia took us over or China, they might just nuke us. They might just try to wipe us out. Israel, they might just want to live amongst us, break bread with us, and just and have freedom, and democracy, all the things that we kind of want. It's like it would be kind of like that biblical worldview that God created in the book of Moses, the first 5 books of the Bible. That it's like he creates this nation, this theocracy that's his government, that he is the king over. And then he says these Gentiles are going to come in and they're going to live among you. The sojourner who sojourns among you, the stranger who is in your midst. Don't be harsh to them, to take care of them, treat them as your own brothers. And I know there is a distinction because they have, the slave laws against the people, the foreigners, as opposed to their own people. But that's pretty much talking about people they conquer, people that they have animosity towards. But it's like if you believe in the God of Israel, that's like the whole point of the situation. If you adhere to and surrender to the God of Israel, because hey, newsflash, and this is like I'm kind of like pulling back the covers on this one. He's the only God. There is no other God but the God of Israel. I hope you all know that. And I know a lot of people that I'm talking to right now do know that. There's only one God, and it's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jacob's name became Israel. So it's like, I think as much as we can do to be a part of and close to the Jewish people, be a part of close to Israel is a good thing. It's a good thing for our interests. I know some people just pull their hair out and they have this Israel derangement syndrome. I've vocalized my I've voiced my kind of derangement syndrome that I have a little bit towards Candace Owens. I have it. I'm suffering from it. I'm a recovering Candace Owens-aholic, I guess. That she took me to a bad place. She took me to a bad place. I had to back out of that, and I had to really recalibrate and think, Candace Owens, either, she's not a Christian or she is, and if she is, she's my sister in Christ. If she's not, pray for her that she does become that, because at the end of the day, every person you run across is either you're going to spend eternity with them or you're not. And so I had to almost me getting up in arms about things that she's saying, because I was just watching her show the other day. She does bring up good points at times, I have to admit. But man, some of the things that she says will take you off the deep end and doesn't align at all with reality. It's just noise and confusion, and there's so much going on that it's just I feel like I know less now after having listened to you than before I came. It's tough at times with Candace, but I'm almost kind of in a trance, kind of thinking about her when I bring her up, because she is the lightning rod for me. I don't know if she is for you, but she is for me. And because either way, what she's doing, she's getting to the bottom of something. I don't know if she's getting to the bottom of, but she's getting to the bottom of something. And every day she's getting closer. But it's the point she's making, about when she's bringing up, that killer or the guy that supposedly killed Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson. And the questions she's raising, especially as the bullet thing came out, that does not, I know it doesn't match the gun, and that doesn't mean that it didn't go with the gun. But I think we've all kind of felt like the bullet not going through Charlie and coming out the other side, that does seem kind of weird. I've kind of felt this way, and I kind of stole this from Alex Jones whenever he first said it. But when he brought up, could it have been, did Charlie have a bulletproof vest on, and then it ricocheted off the bulletproof vest and then got him in the throat? Could that have been something going on? But Candace to say the whole Tyler Robinson, he's not the guy, because, and her just trying to defend him at this point. I guess that is in a sick, twisted way admirable, because if she really believes that all these other things that colluded together to kill Charlie, and I'm not saying they didn't, I'm just saying it does not match at all with Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk. That is my only beef. Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA. That is the only thing that I'm Candace, you're off on this one. You are not on track on this one. And I think you're just going after Erica because you're spiteful of her. Something about her has made you mad, and you're just using your platform to terrorize her. That's what you're doing about that. All these other things, there could be things going on, and Tyler Robinson might not be the killer. I don't know. It might have been part of other things going on, and to do that, I think it is reasonable to question all that. But it's getting so confusing, and it's if our government just used Tyler Robinson, the police used him, it's why didn't they just have him whacked? Why were they threatening him with the guns and get in there, get in the police car, come to the station, and then he does it. It's if they have something on him, why not other people that they've used? I think of the supposed killer of JFK and the guy who tried to shoot Donald Trump. They immediately killed him. Why would they have let him just hang out there? He's going to be able to speak unless he has an Epstein moment and they kill him in prison. I really don't even, I kind of lean more towards that Epstein's still alive. That might be just kooky and that might be crazy. That's just that could be a thing. I don't think he killed himself, but there is possibility he could be alive. I'm just saying. But why did they do something like that to him? He's still eventually going to be able to talk. I think we do have bigger things coming down the pike that we should be aware and we should be on guard. On guard. Be ready for. Because have your head on a swivel, because I thought something more was going to come out of tonight with Donald Trump talking about this historic moment of addressing the nation. It really was pretty vanilla. The only thing we learned from it, like I said, was that we are sticking it out with this war. We're not pulling things up. And I think it reminds me of the State of the Union address like we had last month, that Donald Trump had that about midweek or Tuesday, and then we invaded. We start on like Friday night. So things could get very interesting this weekend. I know that he's given them that ultimatum until Monday. I believe that's what it was, where it's kind of extended out to. We're going to find out whether Iran wants to, it's like, why aren't they reaching out? Just call us. They're the ones that turned off their internet so that they could mow their own people down that were protesting. Donald Trump, I think, has done a very brave thing, a courageous thing. Whether he did it for Israel or not, there's probably complexities in that. I think he cares most of all about his legacy. And he wants to be remembered not only for America as a great president, but also for the people of Israel and for the Jewish people as someone that has stepped in and done the good thing for the Jews. Because as we can see throughout history, the Jews write history. They're the ones that our whole Bible is from the Jews, So there was not really any April Fools. If there was an April Fools, it was that there was a lot more hype, at least built up in my mind. I thought something could happen, but a lot of times, like a lot of these primetime addresses that Donald Trump has done, they kind of fizzle out. There's nothing really there. He keeps them pretty dang presidential. I think, if anything, we can agree with that. But and then lastly, I would say this: I was happy, and I will actually go back to I can pull this up. Okay. Because this is Donald Trump. He actually addressed the situation with. He didn't say Candace Owens, but about Erica Kirk, what she should do. And it's been I'm surprised it took him this long, but he has said it. So let's just hear what he says.
Happy. Anybody that doesn't want, hello, darling. Wow, this is a good tape. I like that tape. You're doing well, right? Okay. I think you should sue him, but I told her, you ought to sue somebody. They're so jealous of Erica. I said, you ought to sue their, I can say you're not allowed to say this. You have to be nicer. Sue their ass off.
I'm actually glad he just brought it up. He had not said anything about this whole time. He's friends with Erica. Obviously he was friends with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was probably one of the biggest reasons that put him in the White House. But he actually, he stepped into it and he said that I think you should sue him, and whether Erica goes down that route or not, I don't know. I mean, there's so much complexity there. Like, I'm so interested to see, like, really, because one day we are going to find out. We're really going to find out the truth. Is Candace Owens completely off the deep end? Is Erica Kirk lying? I don't think she is at all. I don't think she is. I think we do lie. People lie. So Candace Owens go through these kind of long diatribes to say that she's a liar. She's a liar. I caught her in a lie. We all, mess up at times. I think we all want to be true and authentic and honest. We want to strive to. I don't see Erica Kirk as being a person that is intentionally lying, but to call her a liar and say that this would have to be the biggest psyop. I think that Candace Owens is the psyop. But that would be an even greater psyop if Erica Kirk is behind something that happened there. So that's where I am. And Donald Trump said, sue her ass off, or sue their ass off. I'm talking about Drewski as well, who made that video, and probably a lot of other people. But you have to have pretty good reason if you're going to actually go down that road. Nobody wants to be in court. Nobody wants to be going through those type of things. And you really don't even want to sue people that are fellow Christians, if they are that, whether they are just in name only. But like Paul the Apostle writes that brother goes to court against brother, and that before unbelievers, it's like, I know there is a place for litigation. So whether Erica Kirk chooses to go down that route or not, I doubt she will, especially with somebody like Candace Owens. But we need to see something. We need to see someone freaking debate Candace Owens, someone, a well-known name, or just have the conversation with Erica Kirk in front of us. I would love to see that. We need to hammer this out. If we're going to keep going on for a while without Jesus coming back, we need to kind of get some things straight. We'll leave it at that. Drop a comment, smash that like button. Let me know what you think of the show, and have a good rest of your April Fool's Day. I was telling the truth I was telling the truth this whole time, No April Fools on my side. Have a good day.